Some cars simply got you from A to B. But others did something far more special. They made people feel proud. Proud to park them outside the house. Proud to wash them every Sunday. Proud to take the family out for a drive. For millions of Britons, owning one of these cars wasn't just about transport. It was a sign that life was getting better. Today, we're counting down 10 British cars that made their owners proud. Number 10, Austin Cambridge. Back in the late 1950s, owning an Austin Cambridge meant you'd finally moved up in life. It wasn't a sports car. It wasn't luxurious like a Jaguar. But for ordinary working families, it felt like a real achievement. Neighbors noticed when one appeared on the driveway. The wide chrome grille gave it a respectable appearance, while the spacious cabin easily carried the whole family. Many doctors, teachers, and traveling salesmen proudly drove Cambridge models. It quickly became a symbol of reliability and success. Owners loved the comfortable ride, especially on long journeys to the seaside or countryside. Children often remember sitting in the back seat while their parents headed off on summer holidays. Of course, it wasn't the fastest car on British roads. But that wasn't the point. The Austin Cambridge represented stability. It told people you'd worked hard, and it showed. Sadly, rust eventually claimed thousands of them. Today, seeing one on British roads instantly takes many older drivers back to happier times. And if the Cambridge made people feel successful, the next car made people feel just a little more sophisticated. Number 9, Rover P6. Few British cars earned respect quite like the Rover P6. When it arrived in 1963, it looked modern, elegant, and incredibly advanced. Winning the very first European Car of the Year award only added to its reputation. Business owners loved it. Engineers admired it. Professionals proudly parked one outside their homes. The P6 wasn't about showing off. It was about quiet confidence. Owners appreciated the comfortable seats, refined ride, and impressive engineering. Many believed it was every bit as good as expensive German rivals. Families also loved traveling in them. Long motorway journeys suddenly became smoother, quieter, and far more relaxing. Naturally, ownership wasn't always cheap. Repairs could become expensive, and servicing required proper care. But most owners didn't mind, because driving a Rover P6 made them feel genuinely proud. Even today, the P6 still turns heads wherever it goes. And the next car became famous for proving that even an affordable British car could make its owner smile every single day. Number 2, Triumph Herald. There was something about the Triumph Herald that made owners feel just a little bit special. Introduced in 1959, it looked far more stylish than many ordinary family cars of its day. Its Italian-designed body gave it a touch of class that neighbors couldn't help but notice. Young couples loved it. Retired drivers appreciated how easy it was to drive. Even driving instructors chose the Herald because it was simple, dependable, and offered excellent visibility. One feature became famous almost immediately. The entire front bonnet tilted forwards, making the engine incredibly easy to reach. Mechanics loved it. Owners loved it even more because servicing became cheaper and simpler. The Herald also had one of the smallest turning circles of any British car, making tight streets and narrow parking spaces far less stressful. Of course, no classic British car escaped rust forever. Many Heralds eventually disappeared because corrosion became too expensive to repair. But those who owned one rarely forgot it. Even today, many older Britons still smile whenever they see a Herald at a classic car show. And if the Herald looked elegant, the next car became famous because it looked successful. Number 7, Rover SD1. When the Rover SD1 arrived in 1976, people stopped and stared. It didn't look like an ordinary British saloon. Its sleek shape, inspired by Italian sports cars, made it look expensive long before anyone stepped inside. Owning one told people you'd done well in life. Business executives proudly drove them. Police forces across Britain trusted them. Company directors parked them outside offices and hotels. Winning the European Car of the Year award only added to its prestige. Inside, the cabin felt spacious and modern. Long journeys became comfortable, while the powerful engines made motorway driving effortless. Many owners genuinely believed they were driving one of Britain's finest cars. Unfortunately, early build quality wasn't always perfect. Electrical faults and poor assembly frustrated some buyers. But despite those problems, the SD1 never lost its presence. People still admired it. Today, it's recognized as one of the most beautiful British executive cars ever built. And our next car proved you didn't need luxury to make an owner feel incredibly proud. Number 6. Austin Maxi. The Austin Maxi may not have been the most exciting car on British roads, but many owners were incredibly proud to have one. When it arrived in 1969, it brought something that was still unusual for a British family car. 5 doors. That simple feature made everyday life much easier. Families loved the generous space inside. Shopping trips became easier. Holiday luggage fitted without a struggle. Some owners even folded the rear seats flat and used the Maxi for camping weekends. It wasn't bought to impress the neighbors. It was bought because it made family life easier. Parents appreciated the comfortable ride, while children remember long journeys stretched out in the spacious cabin. The Maxi also offered excellent fuel economy, helping families during difficult economic times. Of course, early gearboxes caused frustration, and rust eventually became another familiar problem. But despite its faults, many owners kept their Maxis for years because they simply trusted them. Today, they're rarely seen. Yet for thousands of Britons, the Austin Maxi still represents happy family memories. And the next car became one of Britain's greatest success stories. A car that owners proudly drove for decades. Number 5. Morris Minor. If there was one British car that owners genuinely loved, it was the Morris Minor. Introduced in 1948, it quickly earned a reputation for honesty, reliability, and simplicity. Families bought them because they knew they could depend on them. Builders used them every day. Shopkeepers delivered goods in them. Young couples proudly drove them home after buying their very first family car. Owning a Morris Minor wasn't about showing wealth. It was about owning something dependable that would look after your family. Children learned to drive in them. Parents passed them down to the next generation. Many owners kept the same Minor for 15 or even 20 years. Almost every mechanic in Britain knew exactly how to repair one, and spare parts remained affordable almost everywhere. Naturally, rust eventually claimed many examples. But even today, the Morris Minor remains one of Britain's most loved classic cars. People don't just admire them. They remember them with genuine affection. Only 4 cars remain, including one that almost every British driver dreamed of owning at least once. Number 4. Austin Mini. Very few British cars made their owners smile quite like the original Mini. It wasn't expensive. It wasn't powerful. But owning one felt special. By the late 1960s and throughout the 1970s, Minis were everywhere. Young couples proudly bought them as their first new car. Parents trusted them for school runs. Students loved their low running costs. Even celebrities couldn't resist driving one. The Mini proved that a small car could have a huge personality. Its clever design offered remarkable interior space, while its sharp handling made every journey enjoyable. Owners often said they never got bored of driving one. Of course, long motorway journeys could become noisy, and rust eventually found its way into many examples. But nobody seemed to care, because the Mini wasn't just transportation. It became part of British culture. Even today, owners proudly display them at classic car shows across the country. Number 3. Jaguar XJ6. Owning a Jaguar XJ6 wasn't just about having a car. It was about achieving a dream. When people saw one parked outside a house, they immediately assumed the owner had done well in life. The long bonnet, elegant chrome details, and luxurious interior made it one of Britain's finest executive cars. Business owners admired it. Professionals aspired to own one. Families felt incredibly proud whenever they traveled in it. The ride was exceptionally smooth. The cabin felt quiet and refined. Long journeys became something to look forward to. Yes, maintenance could become expensive. Fuel consumption wasn't exactly economical either. But none of that mattered to many owners. Driving a Jaguar simply felt different. It gave people enormous pride. And for many, owning one became a lifelong ambition. Number 2, Rover P6. The Rover P6 earned something money couldn't buy: respect. When it won the very first European Car of the Year award, British owners felt genuinely proud. This wasn't just another family saloon. It represented British engineering at its very best. Its advanced design, comfortable ride, and solid build quality impressed almost everyone who drove it: doctors, architects, engineers, business executives. The P6 quickly became their car of choice. Owners loved knowing they were driving something different from everyone else. It wasn't flashy. It was simply classy. Today, surviving Rover P6s remains some of Britain's most admired classics. But only one car deserves the number 1 position. Number 1, Ford Cortina. No British family car made more owners proud than the Ford Cortina. During the 1970s, owning a Cortina meant you'd made it. It wasn't a luxury car, but it offered exactly what ordinary British families wanted: comfort, reliability, and affordability. Parents proudly washed them every Sunday morning. Children remember family holidays with the boot packed full of suitcases. Neighbors admired the latest Cortina parked outside the house. Ford also made ownership incredibly easy. Servicing remained affordable. Spare parts were available almost everywhere. Almost every mechanic knew exactly how to repair one. For millions of Britons, the Cortina wasn't just transport. It became part of family life itself. Sadly, most eventually disappeared through rust and years of everyday use. Today, however, the same Cortinas that once filled Britain's streets have become treasured classics worth many times their original price. Perhaps that's the greatest compliment any family car could ever receive. Otro. These cars weren't simply machines. They represented hard work, family memories, and proud moments in everyday British life. Which one made you the proudest to own, or which one did your family have? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more journeys through Britain's unforgettable motoring history.